going to be looking at advertising and looking at advertising with a critical eye so that we can analyze what's going on in the ad. I'm going to show you a video, and while you're watching it, I want you to think about what you like and what you don't like about the ad and how the advertisers get you interested in the product. So that's a very interesting ad. Um, who do you think they're targeting? So who is that ad geared for? Well, clearly it's geared for people from India. It's showing an Indian wedding. It's showing a happy time. It's showing how much color there is. The lighting is quite bright. But clearly they are targeting people from India. So we call that the target audience. A target audience is a group of people who are most likely to go and buy your products or services, meaning that's who the advertisers focus on and gear their campaigns to. These consumers are described by specifics like um, where they live, how much money they make, what gender they are, things like that. It gets very specific. So they might say our target audience is out of shape men between the ages of 30 to 50 who live in cold countries. So it's very, very specific. Um, they look at psychographics, which is things like their behaviors, their attitudes, their lifestyle, their preferences, their personality types. So target audiences can be really general, but usually they're very what we call niche. They're very specific. So for instance, if you're selling down parkas, you might have a broader target audience since women, men, children, everybody wears them. But if you're selling goose down jackets, it might be women, men, and children in extreme climates. So target audience is where advertisers spend a lot of money trying to figure out through surveys and through little groups called focus groups who is their target market. And then that way they're not wasting their advertising money. So this is also target marketing. Have you ever been on Facebook or Instagram and suddenly, you were scrolling that morning on Amazon looking at suitcases, and suddenly on Instagram and Facebook you have ads telling you, oh, here's some suitcases on sale. So this is online target advertising, same kind of idea. Target advertising focuses on specific traits, interests, and preferences of the consumer. So they track your activity on the internet, and that tells them what products you're most likely to buy. So that explains how they do it online. And this has really changed advertising because now people creating products can direct their ads to people and their shopping habits. So we're going to look at if you're analyzing an ad, what do you look at? Well, one of the things is mood. So mood is the general feeling you get from looking at an ad. So the visual appeal is very important. Mood is conveyed by things like joy, fun, satisfaction. So in this particular ad, it looks like a monkey grabbing a Coca-Cola. It says choose happiness. So clearly the mood is one of joy or happiness, playfulness. Another visual element that affects advertising is the typeface. Typeface are the font. So it's the size, shape, and style of the print that they use in the ads. This is an ad for Toyota. It's very clever. They're using the hose of the gas nozzle to spell out efficiency, suggesting their car is great on gas. They don't even have to show the car. This is a very powerful ad. Similarly, the Newport Beach Film Festival, you can see they use a variety of fonts and colors and effects on the fonts to suggest fun and party time. So typeface and font is a big thing. There are millions of dollars spent by advertisers finding just the right font, and some have even copyrighted their fonts. Logo is another visual that we used when we are analyzing advertisements. So this is their brand. So you see this picture, this logo, and you associate that with that company. So there's Apple, and their slogan is Think Different, and then there's Snapchat with the little ghosty. So organizations use these logos to promote public recognition, to be a brand. And brand identity is super important in advertising. You want people to recognize your company and your product simply by a quick glance. Color scheme is the colors used in the ad and how they relate to each other. Color accounts for up to 85% of the reason why shoppers select one product over another. Color affects different people differently based on culture and personal factors such as moods and experiences. As such, marketers generally use color in advertising to establish their brand. Some colors, and this is very generally speaking, white is associated with purity and innocence, whereas black might be associated with power and control. So marketers attempt to align appropriate colors with their brand personalities. Interesting thing about McDonald's, McDonald's spent $250 million to find the exact right shade of red and the exact right shade of yellow to attract their consumers. And apparently red and yellow are the two most popular colors that attract consumers. So they spent a lot of money finding the perfect color. You can see here the welcome up with the smart water. So the blue sky, the blue logo, the blue suggesting the water is clean. The U in this ad is green, suggesting, and the Starbucks logo is also green, suggesting they're environmentally friendly. And then you have Bieber in his Calvin Klein underwear, and it's black and white. So they're looking at color in a different way there to try to show you the sleekness and the stylishness of their underwear. Lighting can affect the way we respond to ads. The brightness of the ad, the contrast between light and dark, things like the Calvin Klein using black and white. It can set the mood. A lot of times, advertisers have a contrast in light, so it makes something stand out more. So this is an ad for sneakers. They've sort of muted the background and all the light is on the sneakers and the legs. Everything else is dim, so there's a contrast. This is actually an ad for a Range Rover, which is really interesting because you can hardly see the car. But by using these light colors and the desert and the sand, it suggests to us that this vehicle can go through anything, right? And you don't even need to see the vehicle. Shapes are very interesting. Each of them conveys a different kind of message. Historically, the circle represents infinity. People associate circles with international brands like Target, Starbucks, and almost every soft drink has a circle. Spiral usually means change. So things like, save the ocean, they'll have like a spiral. Um, whereas law firms will use a square because a square is usually used for professionalism and stability. So these shapes actually do have an effect on the reader and the viewer. Um, there is something called the golden ratio, and we're going to look at that. So the golden ratio is a mathematical concept found in nature, architecture, and works of art. It's usually 1 to 6, 1, 8. So it produces a shape that's equivalent to the proportions of a widescreen TV. So this is the perfect symmetry to make it easier for the eye and the brain to scan images for important information. Um, so these perfect combinations um, sometimes are in like a snail shell, sort of like the Milky Way shape. And advertising art directors use this in logos and their ads. So things like Twitter, their um, ad designs are based on the golden ratio. So where the focus for your eye goes. If an advertiser has managed to get your attention visually, chances are good that you'll look more closely at the content of the ad. But many advertisers use components that are similar to stories. Storytelling in advertising is really important because it hooks the customers and increases brand awareness. The best storytelling ads tell not only real life story, but they inspire and they create a multitude of emotions in viewers. Storytelling marketing is a very powerful way to get viewers and to get consumers because the human brain is genetically wired to like storytelling. And today's world of content overload, a well told story is often a marketer's best chance to get their audience's attention. So here's an example of a Coca-Cola advertisement um, that shows how stories can sell the product. So you wipe a tear from your eye. So you can see there's no speaking in the advertisement at all. There's this emotional song. This father will do anything to get home. And then, of course, Coca-Cola is the savior of the day. Coca-Cola is now our Santa. You may have even noticed that the little girl had a snow globe and it had the logo of Coca-Cola in the snow globe. So that's a way that advertisers use stories to sell. So if we look at this ad, what do you think makes it effective? So it says the foot works, we copied it, Adidas, feet you wear. So in this foot, it's showing the foot without a shoe, but the shoe is painted on, and then there's their shoe. So you can see they are clearly on a high mountain because they've got this visual blur of altitude. They're on rough terrain. They're doing a lot of things there to make this very effective. They've got a close up on the feet rather than a long shot. And let's watch this one and figure out what makes this ad effective. So very interesting little um, twist at the end. You expect to see the man coming out, but he has passed on and given his organ to that woman. So storytelling in that particular case makes it very, very powerful. So in this module, one of the things you're going to be doing is analyzing ads, looking at them with a critical eye and thinking about how does the company get your attention.